I'm Dr. Lawrence Blond, an endocrinologist at the Oxnard Medical Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. And on behalf of my co-authors, I'm pleased to present EASD poster 864, a real-world retrospective study evaluating glycemic control with glucagon-like peptide-1 receptor agonists, or GLP-1RA, or basal insulin in type 2 diabetes mellitus in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom CPRD, or Clinical Practice Research Data Link database, is a real-world research database of de-identified patient data from a network of general practices across the UK. And this study was a retrospective analysis of data from the UK CPRD in type 2 diabetes patients who were 18 years of age or older and had an A1c that was 7 percentage points or greater, while mostly taking oral anti-hyperglycemic agents. And these individuals had a index time when they added to their therapy either a GLP-1 receptor agonist or basal insulin. They had to have been in the database for 180 days previously, and then they were followed up to 720 days in follow-up period of time. When one looks at the baseline characteristics, one can see that most patients with type 2 diabetes initiated treatment at a relatively late stage, as indicated by long disease duration, high A1c levels, and high incidence of concomitant diseases. And you can see that here. And compared with the basal insulin cohort, the GLP-1 receptor agonist cohort appeared to be younger, have a shorter duration of type 2 diabetes, have a higher BMI, and a lower A1c at baseline. Now, these comparisons were not designed to compare the effectiveness between treatments in this study. So, looking at figure 3, the overall cumulative probability of reaching an A1c less than 7% within 10 years post-index increased over time, but the rate of increase declined over time. So it was 30% or 18% in the first year, and you can see this in figures A and B, with an additional 12 or 11% in the second year. And now turning to figures 3C and D, you can see that there was an inverse relationship between the baseline A1c levels and glycemic control outcome over 1 to 2 years. So the higher the A1c, the lower the cumulative probability of getting to an A1c of less than 7%. And for patients with a baseline A1c of 9% or greater, and that's the red line in each of these graphs, the probability was less than 20% within 1 year and less than 30% within 2 years in either cohort. If one looks at the monthly A1c distributions from 12 months before to 24 months after initiation of therapy, you can see there was a trend of increasing A1c levels during the 3 to 6 months prior to the index date, followed by a rapid decrease within 3 to 4 months post-index date, without much further improvement thereafter. Table 2 shows the impact of baseline factors like age, A1c, dyslipidemia, number of oral agents, on glycemic control with GLP-1RA or basal insulin. For GLP-1RAs, baseline characteristics negatively associated with glycemic control included younger age, longer type 2 diabetes duration, higher A1c levels, and greater number of oral agents. For basal insulin, baseline characteristics that were negatively associated with glycemic control also included longer type 2 diabetes duration, higher A1c levels, and greater number of oral agents taken at baseline, as well as dyslipidemia and the absence of obesity. So in conclusion, most patients initiated treatment with either GLP-1RA or basal insulin at a late stage of type 2 diabetes. In patients with baseline A1c of 9% or greater, treatment with basal insulin or GLP-1RA alone appeared to be insufficient to achieve A1c less than 7%. Generally, there is a strong inverse relationship between baseline A1c level and the probability of achieving glycemic control. Treatment intensification is likely to be warranted if a patient has not achieved glycemic goal in the first 6 to 12 months. Baseline demographics and characteristics such as age, dyslipidemia, baseline A1c did influence glycemic control, but these effects may not have been large as the majority of patients did not achieve glycemic control of less than 7 percentage points in A1c. So finally, this study provides real-world evidence in support of the recommendation by the 2018 ADA EASD consensus statement in support to consider initial injectable combination therapy, GLP-1RA plus basal insulin, either as separate injections or a fixed ratio combination, or prandial basal insulin if the A1c was greater than 10 percentage points and or more than 2% above target. Thank you very much for your attention.